Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch. A thick dust settles across the brittle mesas around Blind Frog Ranch just before dawn. The light, when it arrives, casts long shadows over a ramshackle hideout where boards creak, loose stones teeter, and earth waits with secret weight. Beneath that ground lie whispers of gold, of ancient rites, and rumors that refuse to stay buried. Episode 2 of Season 4, The Curse of the Aztecs, unfolds in uneasy rhythms, a dance of hope, warning, and the peril that comes when history pushes back. Eye foundations in the dark before breakthrough, things shift. The South Cave yawns again, a hollow wound in the earth. Previous collapses serve as ghostly markers, fallen rocks, a slanted ceiling, unstable walls. Two men, one measuring, one shoring up, frame a plan of timber posts, cap beams laid horizontally, lighting overhead and along the sides. Every piece carried in by hand, every joint a gamble. The double danger, collapse and misstep. Precision is a guard against the weight of ignorance. Then a rival, a treasure hunter, hardened by desert wind and stories, brought in for fresh eyes. He moves across bead sight and smoke vents. He studies soot on rock faces, the layering of earth, the slope of chimney-like vents amid mesas. Oil. Discoveries at the surface at the bead site. Fingers brush through soil. Beads appear. Bits of ornament, trade, culture. Then something else. A fragment of bone, fossil thick and ancient. The world before humans stirs in that fragment. A relic from another time, perhaps from the Triassic or Jurassic, pressed into the site. Near the smoke vents, dirt has built up unevenly. Elevation changes betray possible entrances waiting to be revealed. The treasure hunter and his team probe around, speculating that the true cave might hide just beneath the accumulated soil, unseen but alive. The South Cave entrance is fragile. Timber frames brace, yet danger lurks in thin air, in quake of stone. Crawl tunnels constrict. Quartz veins pulse through rock. Gold's telltale friend? Or illusion in vein-rich stone? An endoscope slides through narrow fissures, an animal briefly glimpsed, a faint echo. Not just nature, but sign, of life, of exit, or both. Aye. Warnings beneath the wind when ground is stirred, voices long silenced begin speaking. An elder from the Timpanogos tribe steps across ranch property. Those lands carry names older than fences. Beads here are not merely beads. Offerings, ritual tools, artifacts of ceremonies, perhaps of burial. To pick up a bead is more than discovery. It is intrusion into spirit, into memory. Some things are not meant for extraction. History, as she conveys, is not a story of conquest alone. In that land are traces of Aztec refugees, stories that claim that when Montezuma's empire crumbled, survivors traveled north, seeking shelter, hiding treasure beneath rock and cave. Locals, indigenous custodians, became protectors of those secrets. Spanish forces, when they pursued gold, brought with them not just armies, but a raja. Some who refused to help were met with slaughter. The gold has its own spirit. It creates fever. It calls to men. It corrupts. And it demands respect. IV. Strategies, tensions, and unearthed bones plans diverge. One path, excavate around the vents. Loosen soil, uncover what lies below. Another, sift the bead-strewn earth, comb for copper, for trace metals. And below, in the cave, crawl inch by hardened inch, armed with magnetometers and hope, where collapse is the ever-looming threat. Their boots crunch over ancient logs inside the great cavern. Wood placed long ago, hand-cut, hauled through hidden passages. Signs of abandonment. Wood splintered, disordered, as if work stopped abruptly, with fear or with catastrophe. One moment's fault, one shift of earth, and those who labored beneath packed up and left. In dark passages, every echo rings. Presence of quartz, faint metallic shine in rock, rust of copper, smell of damp stone. Each discovery teases, but can't yet confirm. The risk increases with every step deeper. Stability is fragile. V. The cursed weight of gold-hewn earth secrets cast long shadows. The elder's words remain after she leaves. What it means to touch what was never meant for touch. What it means to disturb a site held in ceremony, in memory. Gold here is more than metal. It is burden. Rumbling in earth beneath feet, collapse that nearly kills, tremors that suggest fault lines both geologic and moral. The idea of curse is not superstitious fantasy. It is acknowledgement of consequences. Soil holds memory. Caverns hold time. Spirits of place demand respect. To loot without regard, to dig without heed, those are the acts that break the balance. VI. Resolved unease at episode's nth ground yields hints, but not closure. At the vent holes, metal emerges, a copper bead, large, tarnished. Trade shard or sacred piece. At the bead site, soil uncoils with each careful dig. Beneath it all, treasure may lie, but so too might danger. Plans coalesce. Dig at vents, excavate bead site, brace cave, monitor empty voids for collapse, push carefully. But every plan dances at edge of unknown. The sun sets on Blind Frog Ranch. The mesas turn pink and gold. Wind carries the scent of sage and dust. The bones remain buried. The beads remain hallowed. The curse, if curse it is, lingers in every tremor, every fossil found, every bead touched. Buai. Fragments, futures, and questions what treasures truly lie beneath. Is it gold, artifacts, history, or perhaps more intangible? Truth. Many paths forward ripple with risk. One must ask, is treasure worth more than heritage? Is a discovery worth the cost of ignoring warning? The land remembers, even when those who trespass forge at Blind Frog Ranch, gold is an invitation and a warning. So is every bead, every fossil fragment, every echo in the deep. First light touches the ridge above the south cave. Dew glistens like scattered beads across low shrubs. The cave's mouth yawns dark, overhung with sandstone strata, steeply angled. Timbers, fitted earlier, strain beneath weight of overhanging stone. Splinters of support beam catch the light. The smell of sawdust mingles with damp earth. A drone hums overhead. Its cameras scan fissures in the cliff face, mapping contours. Thermal imaging reveals cooler voids, pockets of air behind walls. Something hollow, beyond reach without risking collapse. The drone's shadows pass across rock art, faint petroglyphs, etched by hands long gone. Curved lines, spirals, symbols recalling celestial alignments. Aya. The bead site's secreton, a slope littered with broken shale. Small fragments of round beads cluster in sandy soil. Pale blue, turquoise, shell. Some polished smooth by wind and water. Others chipped, covered in desert varnish. Fingers sift through coarse dirt, lifting beads and sorting by color size. A green one the size of a fingertip, then a shell piece edged in pink, then a dark bead with trace of gold leaf. Near that cluster, charcoal-flecked stones, heat-altered rock, fire pits, maybe smelters, maybe cooking hearths. Ash blackens them. Embedded in ash, tiny flakes of metal, copper glinting in the loose sand, perhaps a trace of alloying. Soil cores pulled reveal layered history. Strata of dark soil, ash layers, then sterile rock. The deeper, the older. In one sample, pollen, plants that grew centuries past. Pollen of agave, mesquite. Seeds fossilized in thin crusts. Smoke vents and hidden entrances. Wind whistles through slot-like gaps high on the mesa. Smoke vents, chimney escapes carved by crackling subterranean heat, perhaps volcanic or geothermal, and rocks around them cracked by scorching steam. Water drips where vapor condenses. A thin film coats stone in mineral deposits, chalky white and rust orange. One vent hides an aperture almost sealed by talus and earth. Under pressure, dust falls from above when a stick nudges loose stones. A crawl space yawns beyond. Downward slope, descending further into earth. Moist air. Cool. 2 flashlights pierce darkness. Beams bounce off curved walls. Calcite crystals sparkle where moisture leaches minerals. In places, walls glisten. In others, flint nodules jut. Footfalls echo. A drip. Every sound exaggerated. Ivy. Bones from the deep half buried in soft soil. Fragments. Splintered bone. Smooth stone tools. Flakes of obsidian. A radius or ulna, perhaps from a small animal, and nearby, human tooth enamel, a sliver of skull. Signs, burial plot, ritual. The soil around those bones gives off faint scent of decomposition. Long dissolved. A grid is mapped. A quadrant, 4 squares. One reveals a flat rock lid, thin, heavy. Under that, more bone. Carefully removed, layer by layer, trowel, soft brush. Cloth dragged to cushion. No marking of grave, no marker visible above ground. Earth swallowed it. An artifact, curved blade edge with patina. Copper alloy, green with verdigris. Edge too crude to be utility. More likely ceremonial. Nearby, arrangements of beadwork indicate placement around the body. Ornamentation meant to travel beyond death. The brace and the collapse deep in South Cave, light scarce. Timbers installed. Vertical posts spaced, crossbeams tying into sidewalls. The floor slopes downward, loose rock underfoot. Above, ceiling jagged. Echoes of prior collapse, scarred stone, shattered fragments, fallen stalactites. A rock shift, small, unseen, sends dust cascading from ceiling. Heartbeats pause. One timber creaks, grain splitting. A shiver along its length. Loads shift. Gravel rains down from above. Hands hurry to lash additional support straps. Metal braces anchored into stable stone. A short silence. Only heartbeat and settling dust. Then staff retreat upward, carrying tools, wary. Light filters in. Once inside is opened to the sun. Beams dust-laden, moat stance.